Hello, this is Cosmandius. Welcome. It has been a while. Back on the old map, I used to have this area called Arboria that everybody was wondering what the heck it was, and a lot of people never really got to see it. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a quick tour of this. The main purpose of this is for me to familiarize myself with this new recording software I have got. But here we are. Gosh, I've had to go back a couple versions, and this is the old crummy boat. But as you're looking through here, you can see this used to be in the center of a peninsula and a lake, or on the edge of an ocean rather. So this is where you would be coming into the harbor. That bridge you can see there used to go to a different spot. That's where I hauled in villagers. The thing about Arboria is it's a giant villager village. I built this to the scale of the villagers and of the people, so it's small. I don't have any super spectacular fancy buildings in this. But, the purpose of this was to set up a villager system. Okay, so what we have is, in our old system, we had about 3 or 4 different types of economy. The first one was using what was the economy plugin. Now we have our own special program for that. And what you could do is every time you kill mobs, you get money. So this would be the fish shop, and you could buy fish. And you could also buy boats and tackle right here. And this was kind of the basis of level 2 of economy, which was villager trading. Now, since I reset this map, I lost all of the villagers and all of the mobs and everything. I'd have to go hunt them down again to get them set up. But this place was usually swarming with villagers. Okay, so if you all know, some of the villagers start with a fish trade. So this would be this would be the ability for you to get some emeralds to start trading with the villagers. The third level of economy was chest shops, and these stores on this side right here would be ones that the players could buy, and then would be able to set up some chest shops in here. Never got that far. This one was mine. I would be selling. Was going to be selling exotic woods here, and this would be the potions and enchants. I never really got this one decorated completely. But this is kind of your main village hall, and the real estate office right here where you could buy these stores and where you could buy some of the player houses I have. This is one of 2 main gate signs, and as you can see, by command of Cosmandius, High Lord of Arboria. Due to creeper damage nerfing, the curfew has been lifted. And of course, please close all the doggone gates, because the villagers, this is an example. This gate right here, the villagers would run in here, and all of a sudden there's 30 or 40 villagers packed into here. So I'd try to be getting people to close those gates, and it was becoming a devil's time. People weren't doing it, so I put that up on the note. Okay, this right here is the core of the village. This is a villager generator. There were, I believe, 60 doors in this little complex right here. For those of you who don't know villagers, when you spawn a village, you divide the number of doors by 3, and that's the number of villagers that you can have. So this building alone right here with 60 villagers, or 60 doors, was spawning 20-something villagers. Actually, it was more than 80 doors, because it was 20-something villagers. And if you have more than 16, then you have iron golems. So this place had 20-something villagers just from this building and the iron golems wandering all throughout here. So how do you find one of these villagers? I want a blacksmith, doggone it. So what you do is you would come to the blacksmith shop. And in here I had blocked in 3 blacksmiths. This one turned around. This area used to be one of the most popular areas for the people that knew it, because these villagers in here had some pretty doggone good trades. So let's keep on the tour. This was not completed. Over here I was going to be doing the barracks for the walls. Never got that there. This is a private door that leads us into another area. This area right here was going to be a residential area where players could buy some houses. I would build them, and that would work. This is a throwback right here. Got some oak wood here. All right, notice these? Not wooden planks, wooden slabs. These things were transferred over from like 3 or 4. These are the fireproof wooden planks. And when I found out they were going to lose it, I may lose those. I ended up making 2 double chests full of it. There's actually a 3rd double chest full somewhere else. But here's another view of that. So let's keep coming over here. This is the east, what was called the Marsh Gate Tower. This used to face marsh. I have another building. This is one of 2 entrances into here. I never did finish filling in a lot of these things. Here's your boiling oil place to pour on the people in the outer gate. And this area here I was going to give to somebody who was going to be the... you could shoot arrows out here, by the way. Somebody who was going to be like the Castilian. If I ever had any players that decided they wanted to help join me here. Uh-oh. And where is this coming? That's coming from outside. That would be coming from out here, probably. I hope so, because the last thing I want is to be fighting him at the moment. Oh, there they are. Okay, but here's the gate, and this used to be the direction that went towards marsh. And then you can get up to the top of the wall here. So let's take a shortcut down. And we will now continue moving along. Now this is kind of how the village was going to be done. These houses right here were just made to generate villagers. Here is, if you're wanting to be finding a butcher or a leather worker, villager. This was the Osnog Brothers Ledger Shop. Hell-bent for leather to meet your expectations. And behind here, trapped behind here, were 2 villagers. And now one of the funny things is if we come around back, these 2 pens right here held 2 cows and 2 pigs. And these were supposed to be the the butcher's what he cuts up for his butchery. Well, the first one of the first iterations of the server, the players had basically depopulated the entire place of animals. And the first time Arboria was discovered, the people were running around, and all of a sudden I hear cows. Where's cows? My God, do you hear cows? And they showed up here and they found us. We got this whole new area, and they're sitting over here looking like, staring. Oh, there's food. How do you get those? How do you get to them? You don't. What do you mean? That's just decoration. What do you mean decoration? There's no food anywhere. Well, I've got a whole ton of cows. And I did, but they sat there for 10 minutes, and you could just see them salivating, trying to figure out how to get to these cows. So this is a finished section of the village. As I said, this is made to look like a villager village, but just a little bit larger, or a little bit fancier. And I was naming some roads. Let's get over here so you can see it better. This is the Arbor Chapel, or the Arbor Cathedral, and from the outside it's kind of boring, but I really liked how it turned out on the inside here. This ladder here goes up to the belfry. Here's whoops, can't really see that there, but goes to the belfry. So here's your bells. You can see the unfinished tower here. But the area behind the altar that I'm looking at right there, that used to have a couple of priests trapped behind it. So this is where, if you wanted to find a priest villager, this is where you would go. And you could access a level 1 enchantment book right there. Now I had to lock these gates to keep the guys in here, because the players would open them up and would leave them open, and the priests would escape. It was very irritating. Here's the poor box. If anybody, the idea was, if you like this place, give me a give me some money as a thanks. Here's my confessional area. which I ultimately turned into storage. And this is the only tithe I got. This goes back to the legacy when Mary had accidentally set everybody creative, and the smart people went and immediately filled up double chests with doggone it, double chests with whatchamacallit, with diamond blocks. So the economy basically turned into diamond blocks. It basically busted the server. These were two ideas here. This was my poor box. It's empty right now because people would constantly come and empty it. But this is where I would place iron swords, cheap armor, stuff like that for people if you were poor and needed stuff. And the idea was give a penny, take a penny. If you take it, come back and put stuff in eventually. Ha ha ha, that really happened. People just cleaned it out. And then over here was my food bank, take only if you need. And this is actually something I put in here one time. This is my own stuff. But people would just come in here and clean the whole thing out, which was really disappointing. But anyhow, let's come on out here again. We had a back alley right through here, which would lead to a couple more villager houses, the townhouse section. And then this little area here, when I ever got to it, was going to lead down to the crypts. Never got that. Never got to there. Here's the behind the altar. This area here, I was going to build a fancy house, mayor's house. And again, didn't get to it for the server reset. And then Hill Road would come up and would lead you to a couple more houses up here. And then right through here, dropping through here, I was going to build a monster spawner. But they changed the monster spawner, mechanics before I finished that. And also, as I was digging down, it was going to be the old school water lift with the deep spawning chambers. There's a whole bunch of ravines underneath here. This place is just packed with ravines. So that got delayed. Now this is the first of the player houses right here. I have one here. One here, and then one here. And the idea of this, now in this case, Cutie Cat had bought this one. This one was bought by Pink Soda Pop. And I think this one was Broken Angel 13. And what you would do is, I have a realty shop, and people would bid for them. Now, a lot of people did not realize this. But what did you get? Okay, you got a door that was locked to you and me. You got a chest, a work table, a furnace, a bed, and then 2 double chests. Well, big deal. Well, what becomes a big deal is this was one of the few areas that got transferred from map to map. Okay, so when we did a map reset, Arboria would be placed there. It was moved 3 times. And all of a sudden, your stuff would come with it, so you wouldn't automatically lose all your stuff. Once there's a couple people that figured that out, and then there was some pretty big, heavy bidding for this one. It became close to the end of the map, but that's the way this worked. Okay, here's another section of just villager houses. All these houses here are meant just to breed villagers. And now let's go up to the archives. This building is kind of hard to see. And a lot of people had problems finding the door. But right behind here was a librarian, and this is where you could find a librarian villager if you wanted them. We had a public ender chest. Some chests. Now, if those of you on the map where we had the that quest where you went to unlock get the poem so you could get into Sky Island, that's where the second written book was, right in here. This was the second chest, the second library. If you keep coming up here, we had another one of these right here, but this enchantment book area right here, fully enchantable, so a free full enchantment area. And then this would lead you up to the roof. Which would give you a better view of the area right here. That right there, this is what I call a, these are one of my, what I call stations. Whenever I explore, I can build this thing really, really quick. It's a pattern that I build. So if you ever find certain, I'll name it, this was Arboria Station or Mount Thorn Station at the time. But if you ever find these stations, these are areas that I explore, and I always make little safe houses. So when the night comes down, because I always play in survival, when the night shows up, I can go hiding. But that was where I was, when this was an empty place, that's where I was staying before I built the actual tower. Let's see, this is the 4th player house right here. JPA 2000 had bought this one, Bayside Court. This one's a little bit different in the fact that you get the same things as on all the others, but this one's layout's a little bit different. Kind of small and tight. Is this the last shop? Yeah, this one. Yes, this is the last drop coffee shop right here. And good to the last drop. Well, this hole right here used to not have a ladder on it. This is the first place I got killed on the station right here. This used to be a beach, and I come wandering around, fell down in the hole and crunch right here. And this is all the cave was, just one of those little caves that come up in a sand biome. But this was my first drop, which was my last drop because I died, and of course your coffee is good to the last drop. So here's your last drop coffee shop. Yeah. Yes, I'm bad with puns. Let's see. This is the Bank of Arbor. I was just setting this up, but the idea was 1 diamond a month for the chest. And this was reset with the maps, as I said. This would go. So if you wanted to have your stuff go from map to map, you could buy a chest and load up a chest, and there we go. And where's the button to get out of here? There it is. I got to replace these with wooden buttons. But this is the Bank of Arboria. Hadn't started advertising this one yet. This was just starting to be formed when the server stopped. The Municipal and Constabulary Tower. These gates right here, people would not close them. And I would get 20 or 30 villagers piled up in here because this was the southwest corner. And if you remember the villager bugs, they would all pile to the southwest corner. This is my wanted list. This was only used once for a guy who was griefing in here. And basically, you're not allowed to PK, but within Arboria, if you were on this list and anybody found you in there, you could PK them right off. Here's our gallows. And then this was going to lead to the jail, which I never made, but this is the municipal tower. And this is where I was keeping a lot of my building supplies for this half of the map. Alright. Players. Doors open and they close. Close them. Okay, now if you remember how I was talking about the chest shop economy, this was going to be my personal shop where I was going to be selling arrows. Never filled this up. And then I was going to be Arawood bows. These were going to be level 1 bows. I had a skeleton spawner that was just creating bows like you wouldn't believe, and arrows. So this is where I was going to be selling and making my money. This is the Arbor Inn and Tavern. Please close the doors because people wouldn't. I always like this entrance, how this worked right here. But this was our tavern. I had a farmer villager trap behind here and one here in the kitchen. And I can't remember if I have the food in here. Nope. And then close the gates because my drunk villagers clog up the rooms. Right in this hallway here, and by the way, here are the rooms. The idea here is if you needed a bed, you could use it. If you need a chest, you could use it. They're not safe, which is why I put here that we're not responsible for lost items. But to get up to the better rooms, this stairway, oh gosh, would always be clogged up. I always love it when the maps reset because things get screwed up. Ack! Okay, cause derp moment right here. Do some quick repair right here. And thump. So there'd be a villager behind here. And here are the other rooms. We've got this one right here. These are the more expensive rooms right here, supposedly. And then what I used to call the creeper suite, which nobody could get to because they wouldn't close the gate, and this whole place would be clogged with like 12 villagers. But here's the creepers. Well, it was called the creeper suite because right on here was, right in your face was the photo frame with the creeper on it. I had a picture up there. But here is this place, and of course it also led out to the deck where you can see the harbor, overlooking the harbor. One of the funny things is when the villagers used to have that bug where they would all pile into the corner of a village. This was one of the corners, and then I actually had two villages running the way it's set. This was the southwest corner of the first village, and the other one was the church. So at night, you would have 30 or 40 villagers in here whooping up and getting drunk, and then the other side, I guess the moral majority crowd would be all piled into church. So we'd have a church sermon going on and a drunk fest going on in the tavern. I was vastly amused by it. Here are some more villagers, or more villager houses slash businesses, player businesses. This thing sticking out here was to try to keep an iron golem I had in this area trapped, because the iron golems here would come in and they get stuck. So this would keep the iron golems that would be wandering around through here from getting stuck in here. This spot here was where I was going to put a portal. Never did make it. Wish I did. Would have kept people spawning in here rather than in my personal portal, which was a big pain in the butt. And then right over here was the real estate shop. And this is where people would come and bid. So at the end of the month, here were my bid units, and you just basically say how much you want to bid, and then whoever got the highest at the end of the month got to keep their house. And then last is the Smuggler's Gate, which would lead out to this whole area, which had some smugglers' caves. I was going to build... Oh, crap. I was going to build... Okay, noise, stop. Yes, I know you're angry. I know you're angry. Shut up, I'm recording. Out there, I was going to build farms and stuff. So we finished the tour of this part right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this recording in a moment. I think I've covered everything. And the next area that we will be going to is... gosh, parkour fail. Used to be able to do this, no problem. Is the Cosmandius' tower. And I said this is unfinished right through here. But this is my personal tower, and I'll give a tour of that. But I'm going to stop right now, because I've got a large video, and we'll go from there. So I hope you enjoyed the quick tour of Arboria. And for those of you that never got to see it, here's Arboria, what it used to be. This is why where I would disappear to. But anyway, hope you had a good time, and I will catch you online.